All right, thank you for that. I'd like to ask you to remain standing. And let's do one more moment of silence as we begin this new year 2021. We are still in a state of emergency. We are still in the midst of a brutal pandemic that has claimed so many lives. In Suffolk County, 2,361 as of the last time I checked. That seems to go up by way too many every single day now, with I believe around 20 deaths just in the last report. New York now has lost over 38,000 of its citizens. The US, we've more than 350,000, 354,000. We seemingly are losing 3,000, 4,000 people a day to this pandemic. And, worldwide, approaching 2 million, 1.86 million people have perished due to this pernicious pandemic. We are, our thoughts are always with our healthcare workers on the front line. And of course, all the family members of those who've lost loved ones. So let's pause for a moment in memory of them. And also, as has become our tradition, to keep our military men and women of uniform who defend our freedoms at home and abroad, let's keep them in our thoughts and prayers as well. So please join with me in another moment of silence. Okay, thank you. Please be seated. All right, I'm going to next ask Sunday Schermeyer, our clerk, to read the organizational meeting notice and follow it with a roll call. Sunday?
Certainly. Members of the Town Board, organizational meeting Tuesday, January 5th, 2021 at 1 p.m. Please be advised that pursuant to Section 62 of Town Law, the 2021 organizational meeting of the Town of Southampton will be held via video conferencing Zoom on Tuesday, January 5th, 2021 at 1 p.m. Jay Schneiderman, Supervisor, Town of Southampton, dated December 29th, 2020. Supervisor Schneiderman?
Here.
Councilwoman Lofstad?
Here.
Councilman Martell? Councilman Bouvier?
Here.
Councilman Schiavone?
Here.
I did not hear Rick. Are you muted?
I saw him though. He
I'm muted,
waved.
All right. Well, it's good to see all of you.
Yes.
And let me start off by wishing everybody a happy new year. And let's hope it's a good one, right? We've been through a tough year, and the new year brings many changes. It's sad that we start the new year with the tragic news of the death of a beloved community spokeswoman, Andrea Spilka. But there are many things I am looking forward to, positive things in 2021. Mostly, working with all of you in the public interest. I think there's so many things that I'm hoping we can accomplish. First and foremost is getting through the pandemic, hopefully without any more tragedy. And, this is a year where we hope to see widespread distribution of the vaccine. And we as a town certainly will help do everything we can to make ourselves available, our buildings available, our resources available to distribute that vaccine. And of course, we'll continue to help with some, keeping people safe however we can, and addressing economic issues as we need to, as we have done this year with, the food pantries and other types of issues, trying to get essentials to people who need them and keeping people safe and indoors. We'll continue these Zoom meetings for as long as we need to. Our boards will continue Zoom meetings. I will keep that authorized. I don't see lifting the state of emergency locally anytime soon, unfortunately, not until it's, the numbers are much lower than they currently are. And we'll use our technology to assist in doing that. So whether it's the, new programs that eliminate the queuing at town hall, or being able to meet with the building inspector from the comfort of your own home. These Zoom meetings and all those other changes we've instituted. Mostly, you don't have to come to town hall. You can stay at home. You can access most governmental services without having to put yourself at any risk. This year, there's a lot of things. I'm only going to mention a few of them. We've got, we hope to close on the new building for the senior center this week. We hope we'll be able to open a new senior center and community center in the West Hampton area. And I thank Councilman Bouvier for being a leader on that project. That's going to be really exciting. And I've toured this building a number of times, and it's going to be really the perfect setting for a community center. We're going to be relocating public safety and code enforcement to Hampton Bays. That is nearing completion, and that's going to be an exciting change, and it'll bring ordinance and sort of into the heart of the most populated area of our community. We're going to be hopefully adopting changes to our ethics law, ethics reform, that will increase accountability and transparency in government. We will finish our law enforcement review process. Councilman Schiavone, who's liaison to the police department, has been very active in this with Chief Skrnicki and others in assessing with our community our police practices and making sure that we're eliminating any sort of discrimination that could possibly exist. So it's been a healthy process, and I look forward to the recommendations of that committee. We're also planning on launching Channel 20, the community access channel early this year. We already broadcast on Channel 22, that's our government channel, and we soon will have control of Channel 20, and it can be used by the entire community for cultural events. It could be used for opinion. It could be used for really anything the community wants to reach out to the public, develop content for. It's really an exciting opportunity, and we're looking forward to involvement with the libraries and the schools and with our general population. So that's an exciting thing. This year we hope to work with the community on redevelopment of the Bel Air property out in Hampton Bays. I'll be working with the town board. You'll hear more about this today in a tribute to Edith Windsor, who was one of our residents who passed away a few years ago, but she was the woman who led the battle to legalize same-sex marriage through the Supreme Court in a landmark decision that happened about 8 years ago now. We'll be finishing finally the town hall renovations, which I thank you all for your patience. We basically have torn apart town hall and moved people from place to place, redoing the heating and air conditioning system. We had to disconnect from the school next door. So we'll finish that process, and we'll all move back to our newly renovated spaces. We have a lot of historic buildings that will be finished. Nathaniel Rogers will be finished in Bridgehampton. The Nathaniel Rogers House, the Life Saving Station in Hampton Bays will be finished. The African American Museum in Southampton Village will be finished. Tupper Boathouse will be finished. We'll do improvements to Flying Point Beach and the North Sea Athletic Facility, improvements to the Canal Park in Hampton Bays. We'll have more progress toward a new park in Riverside along the water there. We'll look at the Grabretzky PDD and see if we need to clarify some of the allowable uses to address noise concerns in that community. Tommy John, I believe, will be bringing us legislation related to water testing at sand mines. I look forward to that debate and putting regulations on the books that will require water testing. I know Councilman Martell and others are working on the road end restrictions. Some of that inspired by the restrictions we put in place for the pandemic, making some of those changes permanent. We'll be working with Julie and others on sustainability issues, including renewable energy, battery storage, solar installations. I know John is very involved with that too. And of course, John has been very active with getting the town to have a community choice aggregation program. So we're going to keep moving that forward. Also in the sustainability realm, the new bike lane in Hampton Bays will begin construction. On the housing front, we've got the completion of the townwide affordable housing study. I know Councilman Lofsted's been very involved with that. Rick and I have been working on this assessment review, looking at our assessment system, and I'll be asking you guys to authorize me to reach out to our state delegation and ask for enabling legislation so we can implement the recommendations of that committee to make sure that people's taxes don't see spikes because of our market trend policies and provide some relief to our year-round residents. Another big thing is FIMP, the Fire Island to Montauk Point reformulation study, where hopefully later this year, we'll start seeing the sand we've been talking about for many, many years. This is a federal project. In that Tiana area, Hampton Bays, we'll be seeing significant amounts of new sand. I want to thank Congressman Zeldin for his work on that. And of course, Aaron Tertunian, who's been our advisor. A lot of hard work has gone into this, and it just got funded. It just got funded in the COVID relief bill. So we're doing okay, and we'll see that project this year or early next year, but hopefully this year. This year we'll be doing another round of water quality projects. We've done some great work already, particularly West Hampton with their sewer system and the $4 million grant we just provided. But we'll continue to provide money for people to upgrade their septic systems. And then Hampton Bays Water District, we have a lot of projects underway, including the tank resurfacing and the iron filtration, and switching out the carbon in the filters for the granular activated carbon for those chemicals that have shown up in water. So all those things, those big projects will be done this year. Lots of other initiatives. I'm not going to go any longer on this, but I am looking forward to working with you, of course, with our town attorney, Jim Burke, with our human resources director, Sandra Circione, with our clerk, Sunday Schermeyer, with our controller, Len Marchese, continuing to work on many issues with Ryan Murphy in public safety, Lisa Combrink, our CPF director, Kristen Doulos, our parks director, Christine Fenton in municipal works, Alex Gregor, our highway superintendent, Rich McEwen, who is the head of our water district, director of our water district, Diana Weir, on housing and community development, of course, Chief Skrnicki in our police department, Lisa Gorey, our sole assessor, Teresa Kiernan, our tax receiver, Paula Pobat in IT, Janice Shearer in land management, Dennis O'Rourke, our new building inspector. I look forward to working with Laura Smith, our head of the CSEA, and of course, Eric Schultz and the other trustees, working closely with our town trustees. And there's so many others I did not mention, but at the beginning of the year, I do want to mention those. And of course, Frank Zappone in my office, and Jackie and Janice and Paula and May in the council office. We've got a great team at Town Hall, and we have so much to accomplish in the public interest. And I know that 2021 is going to be a good year. So again, Happy New Year to all of you, and let's go to work. So the next item up is, I think is going to be the swearing in. Am I right, Sunday?
Yes.
Okay, so we had an election in November, and Karen Sartain, who has been in the position, who had filled the vacancy, we appointed her to fill the vacancy that was created when Judge Andrea Schiavone became a judge on another level. She's now a Supreme Court justice, and congratulations on that, Andrea, as well. It's good to see you, even behind the mask there. I see you guys are at Town Hall, and Andrea will be performing the swearing-in ceremony for Judge Sartain. Congratulations, Judge. I'm thrilled, and and I'll turn it over to Andrea.
Very good, thank you. First, let me say today, I appreciate the promotion. I'm a state family court judge, but maybe you guys,
Did I say Supreme Court?
yeah.
Oh, it was on my
That'll
mind.
be
Yes.
next.
Yes, exactly. I'm sorry, family court judge.
It is my great honor to be here to swear in my friend, Judge Sartain. The attributes of a judge are very particular, and Judge Sartain's intellect, her integrity, and her demeanor with everybody just make her perfectly suited for judge. And again, I could not be more happy to have someone of Judge Sartain's caliber join the bench or stay on the bench. So with that being said, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All
I'm
right.
really ready.
So place your left hand and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Karen Sartain,
I, Karen Sartain,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution of the United States,
to uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and faithfully to discharge
and faithfully to discharge
my duties as Southampton Town Justice
my duties as Southampton Town
to
Justice
the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did you want to say something?
Can I put my robe
Yeah,
on?
let's go get
Okay.
him, yes.
Congratulations, Karen.
Thank you.
It is tradition for judges to be robed at this time.
So before we get to public portion, a couple other items. What was the
Jay?
question? Yeah.
I think Judge Sartain has a few words that she wants to
Oh,
say.
wonderful.
Okay. Just the fear. Hang on 1 second. Sorry. I just have a few people to thank. Thank you. Like everything else this year has been unbelievable in terms of this is, we're doing everything up with technology, but can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I want to thank a few people. First of all, I want to thank the people of Southampton for voting for me and having that confidence to allow me to continue on the bench after the appointment. I want to thank you, Supervisor Schneiderman, and the board for having that faith in me a year ago to appoint me to that position, and that you had faith in me to do to execute that duty throughout the year last year, not knowing what the year was going to bring us. I want to thank Judge Schiavone. It was a pleasure to practice in front of her for several years before being appointed. I am more than, I can't even say what it's like to try to fill her shoes. She's definitely a role model for me as a jurist, and I'm very grateful that you swore me in today. I have to thank my treasurer and my friend Kelly Van Cooley, who's here today, held the Bible for me and robed me, because my family, my husband, Paul, and my kids, Shannon and Will, are all unable to be here today. My husband is away on work. My daughter is in college. My son is in college. Everybody's back where they belong, which is the right course of things, but they definitely were instrumental in me winning this election. I had a grassroots team of people that helped me with this election. 2 people that I can't name for different reasons. They don't want their names publicized. My college friends and my friends from Setauket. That group of people, including Kelly, are the reason I'm standing here today, along with the Southampton Democratic Committee, of course. Their support for me from the time that I was appointed through today and going forward from today has been unwavering. Gordon Hare, Robin Long, and every single volunteer that wrote letters for me, that put up signs for me. I wouldn't be able to have done that, won this election without their help. And I also just want to say a thank you to my opponent, Patrick Gunn. He is an excellent person. He would have been an excellent person on the bench. I have nothing but good things to say about him. Our race was very congenial or collegial, and we have spoken with each other many times since the election, but I just wanted to thank him publicly. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to the board. Happy New Year to everyone. And I look forward to 4 years of actually some really hard work once COVID is over, and just getting things back to the way they were. And that's all I really have to say. So thank you so much again. Thank you.
Karen, congratulations. All right, so before we go to public portion, just
Thank
a quick, well, you know, we will, I think we'll, you know, ask Ryan to just update us real quick. And then one other item. So Ryan, you want to do that?
Sure. Thanks, Mr. Supervisor. Happy New Year to everyone. The numbers, in case anybody hasn't been paying attention to them, continue to go up countywide. Southampton not excluded from that, although our numbers are not as high as many of the western portions of the county, which is a good thing. The last reported data that we have from the county and county health are numbers as of January 3rd, which the numbers that we are given are total tested positive since the start of the pandemic, and we were up to 2,918 for our jurisdiction at that point. That doesn't mean, of course, that there's 2,918 presently. That's a total count from the beginning. The last day that we had sent to us from Suffolk County OEM prior to that was the 29th, which had us at 2,681. That's an increase of 237 positive tested individuals in our jurisdiction over the course of those about 5 days. So we're at about a 47 person a day increase. The county total positive percentage as of the 3rd, again, that's the most recent reporting data that we have, we were at 11.33% positivity results out of the tested population on the 3rd. So those are kind of the summary of the numbers in terms of tested positive and spread right now. Obviously, that means that things continue to spread. I think the news indicated that as of yesterday, there may have been a confirmation of the new strain of the virus detected in an individual somewhere on Long Island. You know, that's not good news by any means. The only good news is that, you know, so far they continue to state that there's no additional, you know, lethality to this new strain. It's just much more contagious, much more able to be spread, but it's not necessarily causing any more severe symptoms. It all kind of matches the previous strain. It's just its contagion level seems to be a bit stronger. As far as vaccine distribution, because that's numbers and everything, that's not necessarily great news. It's not good news at all. But the vaccine information, I think everybody's leaning forward towards that at this point. We are having regular conversations with the state and with the county, trying to advocate for and lobby to make sure that we have at least one, if not multiple, vaccination sites for the general public within the town of Southampton when the time comes for public vaccination. We are still in our area and in the state in you know, phase 1A of the vaccination schedule. There are a lot of variables there in terms of how fast we can progress to different phases of vaccination, and they are continuously modifying the phases to incorporate different groupings into the phases as they go, as they identify essential categories of workers and individuals at risk. They're being added to the phases as we go. So when people want to know, you know, where do they fall phasing, you know, when are we going to get the vaccine? You know, when is my particular subgroup of individuals or workers or whatever going to get the vaccine? To be fair and honest, we don't have an answer for a lot of that right now. Some of that depends on how much vaccine ends up in our region. And then it goes a step further and, you know, let's use an example of, say, EMS workers. If a million doses of vaccine showed up in our particular area for EMS workers, but only 750,000 of the expected doses ended up being utilized because people declined to get it or failed to show up or whatever the case may be, they may advance to the next phasing of vaccination sooner and start on that because they have 250,000 more doses that they had allocated thinking it was going to be used in a previous phase. So there are attempts being made to progress through and advance the phases as rapidly as possible to get the vaccine into the most number of people that desire to have it as soon as possible. And those are just the kind of the reasons why we can't necessarily, and the state can't give us an answer as to when different people are going to achieve vaccination. So it is progressing, and we have spoken to the state and given them 5 or 6 different locations within the town of Southampton that we've proposed as possible spaces that they could utilize for either drive up or in-building vaccination. And they have not, indicated where they would like to do that yet or what they might approve. But we have laid a lot of different options on the table for them in an effort to make sure that we have a place in the line and that our residents are afforded the vaccine as soon as possible, and that, we're not the roadblock to progress there. We're ready and willing to try and work with whoever we need to make this happen as fast as possible.
Right. Any questions for Ryan? All right. Thank you, Ryan. Before we go to public portion, it is the first meeting of the year. I wanted to give any of the board members an opportunity to say words before we get started, particularly in light of the fact that we lost a friend over the weekend, and Andrea Spilka. I know some of you worked very closely with her. So if anybody wants an opportunity to say something in her memory or something you're looking forward to this year, please take this opportunity.
Well, I'd like to say something about Andrea because she's been 30 years or more service in this community, and she'll be so dearly missed by a lot of us. I spoke with her quite often, and she was always there. She's sort of the epitome of somebody who approaches problems with kindness and determination, and she was very successful at that. And she'll be extraordinarily missed by this community. I know in the West End, she's been very, very involved. Those of you on the western part of the town know that we had an issue with the poles, power poles, and she was one of the leading advocates in helping get that resolved, working closely with Brook Southampton. And she'll just be very missed, and I'm hoping that we do something in her honor in the town, and keep her memory alive and her accomplishments alive in the town. So thank you for the opportunity, Supervisor, to acknowledge Andrea's contribution. And I'm feeling really sad. I'll miss her a lot, and I know a lot of people will.
Thank you, John.
Well said, Councilman. If I could pick up here, one of the great things about being a councilman is the amount of people that you meet and you get to work with. And I have to say that Andrea Spilka was really one of the finest people that I've ever met. Her grit, her determination, her ability to be on the right side of seemingly every issue, in my opinion anyway. She was just fantastic. How she was, her demeanor, her way of calming things down and speaking truth to power. She certainly will be missed. And Jay, you mentioned water testing legislation that we are going to be bringing forward. That is going to start a week from today, and I'm sure that Andrea Spilka will be proud of us for putting this piece of legislation forward. So once again, she'll be missed, and my condolences to her family.
Thank you, Councilman. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll just add that Andrea certainly will be a gentle force who was always reckoned with, but she's definitely going to be missed. So it's a sad day.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Right. And anyone else? Anything before we get started? Okay, so we're gonna go to public portion. And I don't have a list, do I, of those who indicate they want to speak in public portion? Though I see a lot of, I think most of the trustees are here. Sunday, is there a list? Do we know?
I don't have a list of people that contacted me to speak.
All right, I see one hand up.
Well, Jay, can I interject for a minute?
Sure.
We have to get this Bay Constable swearing in out of the way. We all have appointments and everything to get to.
Oh, I see. So you're here for a Bay Constable swearing in.
Yeah, it was supposed to be first on the agenda.
All right, I don't have that on it, my agenda, I don't think at all. I have the swearing in ceremony, but it's not specific.
Okay.
All right, Sunday, are you aware of the Bay Constable swearing in?
Happy to swear them in. I was not told that I was swearing them in. I'm going to have my deputy I think it's a little bit different oath than the one that I have. Is that correct, Eric? Or it's the same one as in our book?
The one that just addresses Special Bay Constable, not being sworn in as a trustee. That's a 2-year term.
No, I understand that, but it's
Right,
the same
right.
oath. It's just as a special Bay Constable.
Right.
Okay, I guess I can wing
Okay.
doing it long enough. I should be able to manage, right?
Here I was thinking, Eric, you were here to just be a part of the organization.
I was wondering why
I
they were
was
here.
too, That's why we're all here, yeah. Mhm.
Communication break.
Well,
The
Sunday.
question that we
Sunday.
have, if I,
Sunday, I just emailed it to you.
thank you, but.
Is that the revised
Is
version
that-
now?
Yes,
I'm sorry, can I just
Okay.
ask the town attorney a question?
yes, ma'am.
Tim, is there a need for a resolution to appoint them, or they just get sworn in every year?
I believe you can just swear them in. I'll tell you the truth.
It's always been done in the past. It's always been done in the past that there was a resolution and that was it. We never really had to, I mean, I don't know where it's
Well, I
changed.
have sworn you in because I looked in the oath book when somebody
Okay.
asked us for the oath. They didn't ask us.
I think there is a
to swear you in. So,
resolution. There is a resolution in the packet, isn't there?
There isn't one on there?
I think so.
Normally, we get sworn in as elected officials, and then secondly, we get sworn in as special Bay Constables.
You don't need the swearing in of elected officials because you got a
Right.
2-year term.
Right.
but we looked into the oath book and it seems as if you've also been sworn in off years. So not just the years that you were, because I asked that if it ran the time of the length of your term, your appointment as Bay Constable, but then there were some off years that you got sworn in. So it was kind of hard to tell. That's why
You
I'm
wanna-
asking.
You want to straighten this out? We can do it at the next meeting?
Well, there is a resolution, Jay, to appoint them as special Bay Constables, and we've always done that.
What page is that?
Yes.
18. It's 2021, number 18.
Page 38. Oh, page
It's
38.
resolution 18, Jay.
Okay, so they would have to be, you'd have to vote on that first then.
Yeah, I think, and then you would swear them in after,
Yes,
sure.
absolutely. Mhm.
Page
So-
38.
Right.
is it? So,
Take that out of order.
You want to take that out of order?
I would appreciate it. I have a bunch of places I have to be today, site inspections that I have appointments for.
all right, but I still have to do public portion. I'm not gonna do it before public portion, so we'll do public portion and then we'll take it out of order, okay?
How long is that going to be? Do you have any idea? Because I have to start calling a bunch of people.
I have one hand up. I don't know if there's any more.
Okay.
All right, Charles, do you have, or Sunday, do you have anyone else besides Anthony Curcio?
I do not, but they may have told Charles, sometimes people just show up on the meeting and
There are people waiting, but I don't know if they want to speak.
Okay, so the only one we know wants to speak is Anthony Curcio, right?
that what that little hand is.
Hello,
That's
Mr.
correct.
Supervisor, members of the town board. I won't be long. So just a quick question. I know it was discussed at the prior two meetings that the town was going to adopt a battery storage code. I wasn't sure if it was supposed to happen at this meeting or is that going to be happening at the the next town board meeting?
Not on today's agenda for adoption. John?
Yeah, I didn't see that. Is it going to be at the January 12th meeting?
I can't answer that. I believe so, but I don't want to mislead.
Okay. Who would be best to follow up with on that?
That would be Janice Shearer in our planning department.
Okay, that was my only question.
Are you in favor of it, against it, or you want to see changes, or?
I'm in favor of it.
Okay,
Absolutely.
okay. Thank you. Okay.
And you feel free to reach out to my office as well. I can give you more detail on it if you like, sir.
I actually have a client who has an interest in it, so we're kind of listening in and waiting for it to go through. Yeah.
Well, talk with Janice. I think that's a good place to start.
Okay.
If he wants to give me a call, my office, I can do it as well.
Excellent.
So Anthony, you can call myself, Jim Burke, the town attorney.
All right, Jim, you got it.
You got it.
All right, thank you. So let me,
Thank you for your time.
anyone who's on this Zoom call who wants to be heard in public portion, you got to let us know. And one way is to put that hand up, the raise hand. If you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see an icon of a hand, and it says raise hand right beneath it. Click that and we'll know that you want to be heard.
I have no hands.
All right. I'll wait another moment. Does anybody wish to be heard in public portion? Okay, I'll make a motion to close public portion.
Second.
Second by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so now we can move on to the agenda, and there is one walk-on. Let's take care of that, adding that to the agenda. Do we have a resolution number? I think we do.
35565.
Okay, it is 35565. It's a resolution to accept the recommendations of the reassessment committee, authorize the supervisor to request enabling legislation from the state of New York to implement such recommendations. I'll make a motion to walk that on. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Needs 4 votes. It looks like we had 5. Okay, so we'll take that up at the end. Next, I will make a motion to take a resolution out of order. It is resolution 18 of 2021 on page 38 of your packet, appointing trustees as Bay Constables. Do I have a motion to take that out? I'll make a motion to take it out of order. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so I'll now make it's now before us. I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2021-18, appointing the trustees as special Bay Constables.
Second.
A second by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, it passes unanimously, and we can now do the swearing in.
Okay,
Sunday, I'll turn it to you.
terrific. Okay, is everyone here? All 5?
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
Yes.
okay, great. Okay. Raise your right hands, please, wherever you may be. Okay, and repeat after me. I state your names,
I,
I, Eric
Jr.,
do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Duncan patent
that I will
support the Duncan patent
established in 1686
established in 1686
6
and the rules and regulations
and the rules and regulations
for the management
for the management
the management
and products of the water
and the products of the waters
of the water
of the town of Southampton,
of the town of Southampton,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of Southampton Town Special Bay Constable
as Southampton Town Special Bay Constable
responsible.
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So
help
help me God.
Congratulations, gentlemen.
Thanks.
Thank you, Sunday.
Me and me.
Okay.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Rick.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Congratulations.
Okay, now we will need you to sign the oath book. So the next time you're in town hall, it would be appreciated. Kimberly Otati will have your names in the book and we'll have it prepared for you.
Thank you.
And may,
Okay, thanks.
may your deliberations be as unified and harmonious as your swearing in.
Thank you.
They are.
Thank you,
Our
Supervisor.
deliberations have been fantastic. We've been a very productive board.
So I hear that's good news.
Despite the pandemic, we've gotten a lot accomplished.
All right.
And I should have said gentleman and lady.
Thank you, Sunday.
I'm so sorry.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy
Thanks
New
a lot.
Year.
Happy New Year's. Thank you, everybody.
Congratulations.
New Year.
Bye-bye.
All right, we'll let them exit and we'll move to the top of our agenda. So we are continuing on page 1 and the first resolution of the year. 2021-1. Adopt amended procurement policy for 2021.
Second.
Second, Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approved. All right, now we have to skip ahead a whole bunch of pages,
23.
all the way to page 23. All right, 2021-2 appoints Joanne McLean as town archaeologist and authorizes the supervisor to enter into a contract for archaeological services.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. If you recall, when we adopted the Graves Protection legislation, we created the post of town archaeologist. You all should have seen Joanne McLean's resume. She's highly qualified for this post, and you know, we're looking to expand some of her roles, particularly in helping us put some make some changes to the town code in these archaeologically sensitive areas that will better protect cultural resources and graves, etc. So this will authorize me to sort of work through those details and understandings and enter into that agreement. So we had a motion and a second. Any questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved. Thank you. Next one, 2021-3 authorizes the execution of agreement between the town board and the highway superintendent for expenditures for the repair and improvement of town highways pursuant to state highway law, section 284.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Resolution, where is it? 2021-4 amends the 2021 Parks and Recreation fee schedule. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. So there is some changes in this in terms of the Beach Activity Center. There's a $50 increase there. There's some minor increases in the showmobile costs and portable stage and fees for alcoholic beverage permits. And there is a fee schedule for various other activities. Anybody have any questions about it? Mostly minor changes. All right, then I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved. Resolution number 5 of 2021 amends the 2021 Riverside Water District fee schedule. It's a very minor increases.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Lofstad. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. 2021-6 is approval for third-party custodial banks and irrevocable standby letter of credit agents.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schiavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Right, 2021-7, authorization for highway superintendent to hire extra help.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. All right, 2021-8 sets equipment, non-prevailing wage rental rates for highway for 2021. Rick, do you want a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved. All right, 2021-9, set equipment prevailing wage rental rates for highway 2021.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. 2021-10, authorization to use signature stamp.
Second.
Seconded. Thank you. Otherwise, my hand would be very tired if I had to sign every single check for payroll. Thank you, Councilman Lofstad, for seconding. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approved. 2021-11 is a designation of banks of deposit.
Second.
There's a whole list there. I'm sorry, who was my second?
Yeah.
Councilman Bouvier.
Councilman Bouvier seconding. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. All right, the next one is 2021-12. It sets the 2021 salary schedule.
Second.
Who was the second?
Tommy John.
Councilman
Boney.
Schiavone. Okay,
Three of us.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 It would, so in that resolution, it's basically saying when payday is.
Yeah.
So and everything else conforms straight to the budget. So the next one is 2021-13, appoints John Lopez to the Community Law Enforcement Review Committee.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schiavone. Yeah, John came in as part of a focus group we were doing with young people. We were all very impressed by him, and we collectively asked him to stay on the committee as sort of a youth advisor. He's a very articulate, very bright young person who grew up in this area. He's 26 now and getting ready, I think, to go to law school. I think he's 26, maybe he's a little younger.
I think he's a little
I
young.
think he's a little younger. He's currently attending Georgetown
Right,
He's an
and doing
undergraduate.
well.
an undergraduate. Yeah, maybe he's a little younger than that.
And he was
Real-
born and raised here.
really impressive kid. He's contributing so much. So I asked to formalize his role there and make him part of the committee. So we have motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And approved. And that committee's really doing a great job. It's going very, very well. We're meeting quite a bit. I had no idea the amount of the time commitment this was going to be. I thought maybe once a month, and now we're meeting 2-3 times a month, and the meetings are 2 hours long. Plus, there's a lot of side work involved, but the product, I think, is going to be very good. All right, the next one, 2021-14 appoints the EMS Advisory Committee for 2021.
Second,
Seconded by, who was the second?
Councilman Scavone.
Councilman Scavone, okay, seconded by Councilman Scavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Next one, 2021-15, appoints the Fire Advisory Committee for 2021.
Same second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. All right, 2021-16 establishes and appoints members to the Windsor Heart Project Committee. I'll take a second by Councilman Bouvier. I'll just briefly introduce this. As I mentioned in my opening remarks, we were looking to do a tribute to Edith Windsor. She was a woman who summered mostly in Southampton for, I want to say 40 or 50 years. And she led the Supreme Court challenge that legalized same-sex marriage in the United States. It was a landmark decision enabling so many people to be able to share the same privilege as everyone else. And it was really an important moment in US history. And her widow, Judith Casson Windsor, reached out to me to do something. She was getting lots of calls from people all over the country to do something in honor of Edie, who passed away a few years ago. And she really wanted to do something here in the town of Southampton, where, you know, she spent most of her time and loved and called home. And so we have put together this committee with some great people on it to try to make something happen here at Town Hall, a place where people can come regardless of their sexual orientation and get married and you share that commitment. And it's going to be really, really special. Sunday Schermeyer, our clerk, is going to serve on the committee. And a lot of people that you know will be on this committee. And I think it's going to be a wonderful thing. And we're hoping to maybe have this place created by Edie Windsor Day, which is a state holiday, state declared day by the governor, which is toward the middle to end of June. So that would be sort of a goal. But I've discussed this with all of you, and I really appreciate all the support that you guys have given to this idea. I think it's going to be a really wonderful thing. So anyone else on this motion?
I would like to just say something if I could, Jay. I just wanted to say I had the pleasure of meeting Edie through my friend Jimmy Mack, who's also on this committee that you're forming here. And she really was a very interesting lady and was interested in what other people had to say too, when she interacted with you. And it was really just a pleasure that I got to meet her when I did. So I just wanted to say that. And I thank you for allowing me to participate on the committee. I look forward to working with you on that.
Thank you. Does anybody want to co-sponsor with me this?
Absolutely.
All right, so can we add Rick and John and Tommy John as co-sponsors? Okay.
I have Rick.
Rick, Tommy John, and John.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Okay.
Town Board Resolution 2021-17, Youth Board appointments for 2021.
Second.
Seconded. I wasn't sure. I saw a few hands. So I'll say
Everybody, all of us.
Councilman Martell seconding. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved. All right, the next one is number 18 of 2021. We already took care of that.
Yep, we did that.
All right, so the next is 19 of 2021 is approval for official undertakings.
Second.
I'll make a motion, seconded by Councilman Lofstad. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. All right, next 2021-20 is approval for official undertakings for tax receiver.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approved. 2021-21, authorize the highway superintendent to clear private roads during an emergency.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. All right, 2021-22, authorize use of digital signature font overlay.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lofstad. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved. 2021-23. Designation of official newspaper. This,
Second.
designates Southampton Press, Western and Eastern editions as the official newspaper for the town of Southampton. Seconded by, I'm sorry, who? Councilman Giovanni. And just Jim, are we limited to just one newspaper as the official newspaper? I get a lot of inquiries from publications that want to be official news, us to post the notices in their papers. Is it?
Right.
The next resolution.
The next res is 3 additional.
There's another one. Yeah, you have another resolution designating additional newspapers.
Sometimes we use alternate ones, depending on
No, I
the
don't-
posting requirements that the legal department asks for, because if you have to post something every day, we will use Newsday.
Right, right.
So that we
Typically,
have other alternatives in the event that.
right. Most municipalities pick a weekly, and then they pick an alternate daily if needed. But
All right, so
I
let's,
don't think I don't believe there's any provision in the state law that says you have to have only one, but
all right, so let's do this. Let's vote on this one, and then we'll come to 2024, and I'll bring up this other potential paper. So on 2021-23, which is the main official newspaper, we had a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that's approved. And on 2021-24, which designates additional newspapers, Sag Harbor Express, East Hampton Star, and Newsday, I did have a request from Dan's to see if they could be considered as a paper of note, for notices. I don't even know if they qualify or whether you have to have a subscription. I know there used to be rules like that.
Cost involved too with advertising in newspapers, and my budget is specific, has certain amounts that we have. So sometimes it's budgetary, but also we've looked at throughout the years, because there's certain requirements to put it in a newspaper, but we also have the ability to post quite a bit of what we have on our website, and also make that information available. So we try and utilize our electronic resources as well. And many of these papers have those types of resources as well.
Because I know the
there was a merger
yeah,
recently.
the Independent and Dan's have merged.
Right, right.
If we were to list them as a possible designation, we don't have to use them, correct?
That's correct.
That's correct, yeah.
So would anybody object if we amended this to also list Dan's papers on that list?
Well, what is the official merged name?
Dan's
I
papers,
still stand Dan's paper.
It's still Dan's?
Right.
I believe so.
But I think they've changed the format a little bit where they're covering more of the local news. I think that's right. We've had, one of the very well-respected reporters used to be with Independence, or even with East Hampton Star at one point, is now with Dan's papers. And so I can see why you'd want to include them.
I personally don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, and we'll leave it up to sort of the clerk as to when, if any, time to use them. So, all right, so let me make a motion to amend 2124 to include Stan's on that list of alternative papers
Second.
as well. And seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
And then I'll make a motion to approve as amended.
Same second.
Same second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, approved 2021-25, sets 2021 meeting date for the commissioners of the Hampton Bays Water District.
Second.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lofstad. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved.
It should be noted in that we are adding another meeting with the Hampton Bays Water District on February 4th. And considering the work that we're doing over there, it's highly appropriate to do so.
Yes, thank you, Tommy John, for that. Yeah, we normally do 2 meetings. We're going to be doing 3 this year.
Right.
Yeah, and hopefully, we'll see another community meeting there too. I think that's very important. Those were helpful in the past when they had those community meetings. All right, 2021-26 sets town board work session schedule for 2021.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Lofstad. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved. 2021-27 promotes Sergeant Michael Joyce to the rank of lieutenant in Southampton Town Police Department.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schiavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. Congratulations to Sergeant Michael Joyce, or I should now say Lieutenant. As soon as he's sworn in, Lieutenant Michael Joyce. That's an excellent promotion. Next, 2021-28 promotes Police Officer Michael Walsh to the rank of Sergeant in Southampton Town Police Department.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schiavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. So congratulations to Sergeant, formerly Officer Walsh, soon to be Sergeant Walsh. And so those all, if you recall, Lieutenant Zarrow retired, effective right around, I think, just a day or two was his last day. And that opened up that lieutenant post. So Mike Joyce was promoted to that, and then Mike Joyce's post as sergeant then became open, and Mike Walsh was promoted to that. These are all recommendations of Chief Skrinicki.
Mr. Supervisor, in the next resolution, Michael Joyce is listed as sergeant. Did you want to update that to lieutenant?
Sure.
He's technically not lieutenant yet until he's sworn in. I don't know, Jim, what do you want to do here? I think it's probably fine to change it.
Yeah, you could change it. I mean, all this is just, you agreeing to the extension of the continuation of service. So just so the main thing is that you're identifying the person.
Okay. It's up to you. Just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Yeah, so what do we need to amend it or just leave it alone? And I think we'll probably leave it alone.
I think you're fine leaving it alone.
Okay.
As you said, as long as everyone will know who Michael Joyce is listed as a sergeant there, whose individual has just been.
I don't need it to pay. I don't need it to pay him. That's fine.
Okay,
Right.
just checking.
Right, and technically until he is sworn in, he's not in the post, so.
Right.
So, all right, so 2021-29, police officer continuation of service.
Second.
Second, by Councilman Lofstad. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. 2021-30, notice of public hearing to consider improvements to the Hampton Bays Water District pursuant to Town Law 202B. And this is for that switching out, I believe, of the carbon medium.
Yeah.
Second.
That was seconded by Councilman Martell, I think.
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved. Those other projects I mentioned in my opening remarks too are all moving along according to schedule, which is great. All right, and I think that's the end of the regular agenda. We do have the one walk-on. So this is resolution, well, ID number 35565. It's a resolution to accept the recommendations of the reassessment committee and authorize the supervisor to request enabling legislation from the state of New York to implement such recommendations. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Martell, who has been serving on that committee. And you may recall our sole assessor came to the board in a work session at some point. We had the committee there. And the basic, I'm sure you all remember, we froze the market trend reassessment for a 2-year period in response to some concerns about people, particularly on fixed incomes, who were in areas where the property values were going up quickly without them doing anything to their homes. And then, of course, when we apply the tax rate to the higher number, it means they'll be paying higher taxes. So we tried to come up with a way to protect some of these people from large spikes that they might not be able to financially manage. And it was a great committee. Jim was very involved with it, Jim Burke. And they came up with 2 basic recommendations. One is we have what some people call a homestead exemption, that if this is your year-round resident, for the purposes of taxation, we would lower your assessment by $50,000, which makes a big difference in a lower valued home. It doesn't make a big difference in a very high valued home, but somebody, who in a more modest dwelling could see a significant benefit, like a 10% reduction in taxes from that, or more.
Particularly in the areas that have a higher tax rate than some of the other.
Exactly. It could be a 20%. If your house is valued at, 300,000, which some are in property, it's close to a 20%.
Does that require those homeowners to apply, or is that an automatic change in the assessment?
I don't know yet,
You have
John.
to crunch down on the details, but that's right.
Okay.
That's one of the things we were talking about. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
you might have to file for it. I don't know. Or it might be just automatic. That's not, we haven't gotten there. So that was one of the big recommendations, that we have this homestead exemption. Anyone who has who is a year-round resident, with the assumption that, a second home is more of a luxury, and the people who are here year-round, they depend on that home for their primary residence. The other piece of it, we're one of the few towns, one of only 2 I know in this area, Shelter Island and Southampton, that has full value assessment. We adjust the value of your property every year to adjust to the market. Some areas tend to go up faster than others. And, particularly waterfront properties and properties east of the canal historically, and I don't mean broadly historically, but like the last 20 or 30 years, have seen, faster appreciation than other properties. And, if your property goes up 10%, 20%, 30% a year, where other properties aren't going up by nearly that much, you can see significant increases in your property taxes. And if your income isn't going up accordingly, you could run into problems. And so the committee recommended that we put sort of a regulator, like a gauge, on those increases. It's not that we wouldn't record the increase if your property went up by 10% or 20%, but for taxation purposes, when we multiply the tax rate, we would only increase it by 5% would be the limit. Assuming you did nothing else to your house. You didn't add a pool, you didn't, do an addition, you did nothing to your home, just the value of the area went up, 5% would be the max. So, and let's say it went up 20% in 1 year and no, it didn't go up the next year, it might take several years to catch up. So that might be 5% every year for several years until you caught up. Some properties will never catch up if the real estate market keeps going the way it's been going. And so you will end up with this kind of a separation between true value and what we're assessing your property at. So we want to be able to fix that as well. So when you sell the property, if you transfer the property, the new buyer will know exactly what it shows up on in our assessment, and they will be paying taxes based on that assessment. So the tax rate multiplied against that assessment. But they'll be able to know what it is. They'll be able to see it on the property record cards. So those are the two main the two main changes. And we can't do either one of those on our own. We would need state enabling legislation. So I would, through me, would have to reach out to Assemblyman Thiel and State Senator Palumbo and ask them to introduce legislation that either would apply solely to Southampton or maybe to all areas that have an equalization rate of 1. In other words, have full valuation. So that's what this resolution is doing, is basically accepting those recommendations and asking me on behalf of the town to reach out and ask for enabling legislation to accomplish that. Any questions on it? It's a little complicated, but
Does that, if that's granted by the state, would this same committee then work on the details of this are important and how this is implemented?
I don't see the need to bring back that committee, John. I think it would be up to the town board at that point to figure out whether we want to have it an opt-in or whether an automatic thing.
Okay, yeah, I'd like that opportunity to be able to look at some of the details of this. There's some things that jump out at me that I think, if they're not done correctly, could be a disadvantage. So
it's likely that the state will specify that if they give us the legislation,
Right.
whether it's mandatory or whether it's something you have to opt in or
yeah,
out.
and we would have the option of turning that down or not, depending if they put stipulations on that, correct?
Yes. Well, if it's specific to Southampton, we will have to pass a home rule message at some point. But we'll have an opportunity to work with our assembly or our Albany delegation prior to them introducing the legislation.
Okay, that's great.
Assuming they'll introduce the legislation.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else on that? All right, we had a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I approve. All right, that's the last resolution. Is there any other business?
Happy New Year.
All right. Once again, I just want to wish everybody a happy new year. Looking forward to the year ahead. Let's hope for many blessings in 2021 and particularly the end of this pandemic. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
I'll make a motion. Happy New Year. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier.